Welcome to the Great Couples podcast with the marriage pastor, your favorite pastor, Pastor JT Mukome, Jethro Tatenda Mukome. With me today is my beautiful sister, Sister Lynette. Sister Lynette, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Pastor, for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of the Great Couples family today and taking this podcast with you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Today we just want to discuss, in my line of work, marriage. They call me marriage pastor, not for nothing,
Oh, yes.
Basically, today's marriage is under great siege. It's not a secret. It's public talk now.
Yes.
And there's actually a saying, marriage does not work. It's been popularized. Marriage does not work. Marriage does not work. And the challenge that we're also having is the young ones. They no longer value marriage. They do not want to get married. The boy child and the girl child. They say, marriage has become an issue. They're actually afraid of getting into marriage. Much of my misconception, but misconceptions they take their value from somewhere. Okay, it's a misconception, but it's being given value. Where is the misconception getting its value from? It's getting its value from the society. Society made up of their parents.
Yes.
Yeah, people learn from what they see.
True.
So they've seen their parents, they've seen their mothers are not happy. Okay. And when their mothers talk to their daughters, they're telling them, this thing is it's not a bed of roses. And otherwise, don't have to show it's not a bed of roses.
True.
They see the frustrations. Zana Baba, my father is not happy. And when I know this is being caused by by mom or it's being caused by dad, but eventually the conclusion is marriage is dangerous. It's a dangerous practice. So the best is to what? Is to stay out.
Avoid it.
To avoid it. But at the same time, staying out has got its own issues that we are also going to dwell on, maybe today or maybe some other time. I've written a book here titled The Woman. You can see the woman there. The picture is of a woman, and there's a lot that is going on in her head. She has the family responsibility. She has the corporate responsibility. She has social responsibility, and so forth. So it's pulling her in every direction. And why this woman is holding her head like this. It's a sign that she's confused now, and she's trying to deal with confusion that is in her head. So I'm working on another book titled Today's Youth, and there's a subtitle Momo. It goes the girl child.
Okay.
The girl child. That's what I want us to talk about today. There are issues that the girl child faces that probably the boy child out there does not understand. Marriage challenge. These are two people who are coming together. Okay, the other one lives on Mars and the other one lives on the moon. These are different species, and you want to bring them together to form an association, and the
Yes.
association is simply not working because the boy child does not know who the girl child is. So who is a girl child, you know? And talk to me about this girl child fears, those fears that are not expressed publicly, those fears that are not known, but animal pressures are now asingazikani, just like the boy child. Animal pressures are there.
Yes, true.
We want to know the pressures of the girl child, which probably make her fail to appreciate, marriage.
Thank you. I think this is a great topic which really needs to be demystified. Today's girl child is educated, has the sense of assertiveness where they have achieved and they think marriage is no longer that achievement that it used to be in the older days. So some of the pressures that this girl child is facing are that now that I have achieved so much, why should I need to be with a man when I have the money, I have influence, I'm a CEO in a company, and I'm just doing my own thing. So that is one of the sources of pressure where a person has achieved and they just don't find the value of being with a man. And then also, like you were saying, there are these misconceptions that marriage doesn't work. So you start thinking, the hassle of being in a marriage, I'll just rather not. I actually have a friend of mine who I was talking to over the weekend, and she has a daughter who is 25. And I asked her, so is there any plan? The daughter says, leave me alone.
Is the mother married?
The mother is married.
Okay.
But the issue is that achievement I was talking about earlier. She's an engineer and she's working on a master's. So she wants to actualize before she can think about marriage.
But when you were talking to her, did you pick from your conversation with her? Did you pick maybe that she attaches importance to marriage, or to her marriage is a non-event?
She does attach importance to marriage to some extent, but just
some
not
extent.
now.
Just not now. Okay.
And I think it's kind of like a dangerous situation where you may never really get to that point where you actualize. So after your master's, you may start thinking, I think I want to be called doctor, so I need to get my PhD. And then when you get older, these guys start fearing you because you have all these big sounding things. And also because of your age, you're most likely to then find people who are already found. So because of that situation, you then end up not valuing marriage. So maybe previously you actually did want to get married, but you thought to yourself, no, I'll do it later. 10, 15 years down the line, you're just not in a position where you'll find that right person that you want because they're probably taken.
But would you say the lack of, how can I put it? You are talking of ladies today's girl child, the educated girl child. She's really not in a hurry to get married,
Yes.
or rather, she's not placing that importance to marriage. Would you think it's because of the status that she would have attained, or is it society? Is it peer pressure, Well, this issue has to do with where she's coming from. That is home.
I think it's a mixed bag. There's an aspect of the home itself. Sometimes people are coming from these broken homes where they grew up without their fathers. That's usually the situation. You grew up without that masculine aspect within the household, and you just don't value it. And then sometimes it's also peer pressure.
You actually see it as oppression.
Yes. And then when people talk about submission, you start thinking,
Yeah, it's another issue.
okay, so I will have to go and submit. And then that aspect of submission is actually very misunderstood. It's also taken as oppression in some instances. So that's where these insecurities may actually come from. And then also the aspect of peer pressure. You know, I was also having a discussion with someone who was saying they listened on a conversation of medical students, and they were telling each other that the moment we leave this place without partners, then it's over for us. There's no marriage anymore. So when someone leaves college and they don't have a partner yet, they're already thinking it's over for them. There's no chance for marriage, and that pressure just then mounts on a person. And then also that sense of achievement where you think, okay, so also the sense of achievement, you know, like when you think I'm running a $10,000 business. So there comes a guy
Who has nothing.
or I mean who's beneath, and you think, okay, so how does it go? Do I have to be taking care of all the bills? Do I have to be doing everything? It's also a contributing factor. I do acknowledge that there are a lot of girls out there who have big hearts and who have, you know, a sense of building where you'd actually say, no, this guy has potential, so I think we can work something out. But on the contrary, there are also instances where it's happening that that sense of achievement actually then hinders marriage thoughts and the like.
Yeah, so you probably are a typical example because you are that independent, you know, educated woman who's running your own stuff. Okay, maybe you're in a better position to tell us from your experience, because the problem that I'm trying to solve, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this issue, where because if you take today's girl child and you roll back a few years, back, the girl child back then is very different from today's girl child. And those, even though proportionally there were not as many empowered women as we see today, but back then the empowered woman, at least what term can I use, at least she had values, because I'm seeing an issue of lack of values. Okay, and now, you know, if we are to bring you in as a case study, how do you think, you know, your upbringing? Because values, we get values from home. Okay, we basically get them from our fathers do set the rules and our mothers do implement. Okay, because chikora toziya kuti mutaraisi yataura kuti zvakatoka babuda wenda. Yeah. Moms vaisara vaine shamo manje, you know, maitari zvakadeti maitari and also. So mom basically would enforce the rules, but mother was there to set the rules. Would you think, you know, taking from your upbringing and your experience, would you think the greatest challenge that you're having right now is probably coming from home, where the father is is no longer, he's there physically, but he's absent. I talk about the present absent father.
Yes.
He is there physically, but is absent in terms of authority and what he's supposed to do. So tikatora iyoyo, tichitora example yako.
Yes.
How would you? What's your comment on this?
Okay. I grew up in a setup where it was my mom who was the mom and was the dad, and I'll say my dad was a absent father.
Oh, absent.
He's now
Totally.
present, and
Okay.
I appreciate. But during my time of growing, he wasn't there.
Okay.
I think it has shaped a lot who I've become, because I feel like I have the strength to become the mother and the father to my children. So I've had marriage experience, and it was difficult. It was tough.
Why was it tough? Why was it difficult?
I had a number of challenges. First of all, I think the issue of finances, like I mentioned earlier, that you're established and then you are with someone who is without, and trying to consolidate, managing the bills, managing your expectations and managing his expectations. It was very difficult for me. I pulled, I think, a year trying to balance out things.
Survive.
Yes, but there were a number of issues. The main issue was that there was no potential, where I would have expected that maybe when we pull a year, we'll have another income stream, because he is also bringing in something. But you then realize that there's nothing coming, and we are actually taking steps back rather than steps forward. So I felt, because my mom did it, I can do it too. I can be there for my children. I can be their mother. I can be their father.
Okay. So, boss isha ndikuona panapa. We are now in a society where now we have got a lot of children now who are turning to be parents, but they grow up in those distorted setups.
Yes.
Like typical example, yourself, where the woman is both the mother and the father. The values that are supposed to come from the father, because baba ndio my values. Baba wakashaika. My values anoita challenges. It's a topic for another day. It's a very deep subject. No matter how much you want a woman to occupy the office of the father, she can't.
She can't.
No matter how much you may want the father to occupy the office of the mother, he can't.
True.
It's basically not in you. So, as you said, there's a growing number of women. I can have my children. Okay. Itori game yautotamba kuti akutoita family planning ne murumasiro wake, just gets a boyfriend ane vana 2-3 vese vane ma different fathers, because she feels good she can be both the father and the mother. So ndo vana vakona vakukura manje ivava vari kubva from what? From such setups. So don't you think kuti, yes, you may say yanga iri nyaya yemari, but akaona mamarriage akasurviva pasina mari, anditika mamarriage emaparents edu isisu akasurviva, anditika vanhu vachistruggle, but chikaita kuti asurvive inyaya yemavalues.
True.
These are the values which have also kept us. And I'm still married to my wife, never divorced, because of the values that I inherited from my parents. Couldn't talk a lavish lifestyle, but today's girl child chanotanga kutarisa nje kuti what kind of a vehicle are you driving? And she's more than ready to live. And it asina basa nekuti makara 6 months ere, if she just feels kuti you know akalife katukurama panapa akasunditira zvakanaka, she just lives. Don't you think kuti inyaya idzodzi dzekuti you know the girl child simply has no values because the father has been absent in her life?
I think it's true, Pastor. That lack of value, because what you know is, you know, being an independent person and doing your own things, then you don't value that communion that comes with marriage. You don't value the importance of that father figure in your children's lives, and probably that husband figure in your life as well. And I think it also boils down to, for me, it was actually lack of mentorship and guidance, because at the time when I got married, my husband was a pastor, but had a nomadic way of fellowshipping. You know, one day we are at that church and then the other day we're at that church. So we didn't have a father figure, a spiritual father who would then guide us and mentor our marriage, so such that it was very easy to then just say, what I know is what works best, you know. So yes, I can attribute it to the lack of that value you attach to the marriage institution.
Do you think if your father was present, because you said he was absent, which means the contribution of the father in your life was basically close to zero?
Yes.
Your mom put on the father's head, of which she's not qualified to occupy that office, because it comes with a certain authority that is divine, you know, certain wisdom that is divine, and abilities that are divine. Saka, I'm seeing a girl child here who has got more of strong advice coming from the mother. Obviously, Mama Paswanas, we can only give what you have.
Yes,
and
true.
from the father side, there's nothing that is coming from there. So you want to for die baba kwangwari in your life, you know, warorwa. I would want to know actually, Guti, when you got married, was your father there, or he was absent? Okay, let's leave that one. So if your father was present in your life and he had values, Sababa, do you think your marriage would have failed?
I don't think so. I think it would have survived. First of all, I think going back home, Baba will tell you, no, ndakajika mari vari dzidzokera
ikoko. Yes.
And then also, I think the scenario growing up would have been totally different, and the values that are instilled right from childhood would have been different. So I think it would have survived better. And some of the issues that emanated in my marriage were actually based on Kuti. You came from a broken home, you know, so that would then be sort of like a nail that was always hammered within the marriage. So it also contributed to it falling apart. And I think even as I am today, as I reflect on my life, I actually do want to get married.
Okay.
And I'm just hoping it's not too late. And I think I would want to say to the girls out there, sometimes we are disrupted from the important things in life, like marriage, because of a lot of factors that are around us. But we miss opportunities and remember them when it's a bit too late. So it's good that we really reflect on our lives, we reflect on our values and see what's important, and weigh our options. I mean, it's not easy having that $10,000 business in your FET account, but alone at home with the kids.
Yeah, because this is my business. This is what I do. The enemy has really gone after the office of the father because he knows the downstream effects of an absent father.
Yes.
Atikuti amai havana kukosha, amai vakakosha, but I want you to know kuti chinhu chese muupenyu chine order nehierarchy.
Yes.
Mukasvika pabasa ka pana CEO zotaura here kuti accountant haana kukosha, aiwa accountant akakosha, but tikuoccupy different offices ane different responsibilities.
Yes.
Okay, the responsibility of the office of the father yakakura. That's why the man shares the same office, of father namwari. Yes, there's God the father and there's man the father. So I'm realizing kuti, absent fathers, they're absent yawataura kuti hawatoripo baba vacho handitika kuti present absent fathers aripo, but they no longer have authority. I've got a lot of cases like that. So baba varipo anotora apa panapa mfundisa nini handichazvigona. Amai is simply what? Amai is simply taken over. In terms of my values handikutaura nezvavo, but chakakosheswa kwandiri nini handitika, you look at me today, there are certain things that I do not do. You look at my two boys, there are certain things that they will not do because they took it from me.
Yes.
And also havavari munhu havanyepi, but to meet a child hanona zviri so easy ngokunyepera so hanona zviri so easy right now. Munyika muno mazara zvivharo, people who are not straightforward. You cannot even believe a word that comes from their mouths. As much as you want to blame them, but we go to the head now. Don't you think with the girl child today, kunyanga adzidza, I don't believe with education should make somebody lose their values. If education is making people lose their values, then we begin to question education, and we begin to question the values. But atomboripo here my values. Ukaona mari yakuchinja character yamunhu, muda kubvunza kuti angambone character yacho here in the first place, because money should not change who you are. Education should not change who you are. Ukaona wakuchinja, zvekuti vanhu vanokushaya, it means kuti wakaristombona mavalues acho in the first place. So haufunge herewo kuti because you're telling me after a year and you just made it for a year and then you called it quits. Probably it's you. But probably ndiwe wakataura kuti nini I cannot have this guy, as one marry and so far. So dai wakakura mune mavalues ekuti baba anokutaurira kuti mwanangu, marriage is important. Mwanangu, marriage is important. Dauzodya pfuma yako anditika ndira kuti ugozogara zvakanaka uye mudzimai womunhu and so far. Unofunga here kuti vana vakakura vachiudzwa like that? Because the Bible tells us kuna Proverbs kuti train up a child in the way they should grow up, so that when they are grown up they will not depart from
it.
Hamufunge here muti tina baba varisiri kuroedzera mwanasikana kuti iwe uri mudzimai wemunhu.
I totally agree with you. I have a sister who always says money doesn't change people. It shows you who they truly are. And yes, we are having these situations of present but non-present fathers who are not instilling values in their children, and it becomes a menace. And you realize that father will come back and say, mwana hasikunditeerera, it's because ari kufurirwa naamai vake. But what have you done? There's that need for that, introspection to say, what have I done as a father to deserve the respect and to reap the fruits of what I have instilled in my children. So I think you're very right. I agree with you. The values were not there in the first place. The character was not formed in the first place to then value the marriage institution and say, no matter what, I'm going to stay in this marriage. Sometimes it's not necessarily kuti you have walked out on someone, but it's that you have pushed them so hard that they opt out. And then at the end of the day, we are saying, no, I'm not the one who walked out, but
But you're the one pushing.
Yes, you have pushed them to such an extent that they actually walk out of it. But it does go back to the issue of values. What value do you attach to the marriage institution? And what value was instilled in you as you were growing? I know, I have a case where I actually experienced where the father is actually saying, my child is not listening to me. If I tell her to do something, she doesn't do it. I feel like as a father, you would have failed somewhere. Because when they're a child, if they're not listening to you, what of when they grow up? That father will not have the authority to tell you to go back if you are not respecting them.
Wakakosha discussion because you grew up in an environment, yanga isina baba. So pauri voice ra itaura, voice rani, voice ra ramai. Mama vaimbotaura ere pamuri neimportance kuti unofa kwemukadzi akanaka, unofa kusubmita kumurume wako. I want you to get married, and ukunzwa chose divorce, ukunzwa kana kuti amai vako probably because I've also discovered with a lot of women who in failed relationships, they are bitter, and all that they can give, especially their daughters, is bitterness. And so forth. What's your comment on that, given kuti you grew up in such a setup?
Okay. I know when I got married, my mom was very happy for me. She was. She supported me being in a marriage institution. But I remember at one time, I had a conflict with my husband. And the first person I called was my mom, because it was quite intense. And it was getting kind of suicidal. So I called her. Because of the mammary instincts, mai vanoda mwana wavo ende vanotomufuramirira. And she said, no, I will not have it. I will not have my child go through that. So